Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host. As always, we really do appreciate you tuning in and being a part of this program. You tell a friend to tell a friend that Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil is on the air. You know what we do here. We talk business, legal, political, social, whatever affects you in this community that we call Memphis, Tennessee. Hey, we will talk about it. We will go some places where others won't go because we do our research and receive the information that you definitely want to know about. I've told you a lot of things in regard to what was going on here and a lot more to come in this political season. People who don't have a clue but get into a race just to get a paycheck. And you got a lot of people doing that. But we're going to talk to you about it. We're going to weed them out and let you know time for playing on the political playground is over. This is about your existence. This is about you getting the right people to represent you and stop playing games as though they are on the Hollywood runway, the red carpet. You know who I am? I'm so and so, so and so. I am a councilman. I am a commissioner. We don't care nothing about that. We want to know what are you going to do because the people have given you the power to do it. Will you be manipulated by the power that be? Like so many of our politicians in Memphis, Tennessee, check the receipts, find out who's raising all of this money and who's giving them this money. It ain't the black community. It's the people who got the name on buildings and offices, but yet they go and they are buying politicians. And I have to keep stressing that to you because when they buy politicians, they are buying you because the politicians represent you. But we're going to put not a 100% stop to it, but we're going to be shooting for it. But we're going to let you know by way of this program, Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil, what's going on. And a lot more calls I'm getting, a lot of emails I'm getting in regard to, hey, Mr. Bernard, tell us a little bit more about the light, gas, and water situation that you posted. Well, I'm trying to get Joe Kent to come on to the station, and we're going to talk about that. Uh, Research it, find out that it may be some meat to what he's saying. Well, we're going to get an opportunity if I can catch up with him, and hopefully we will next week and get him on here to talk about that. You know what we used to call Memphis Light Gas and Water? We used to call it Memphis Light Gas and Robbery. They can go up on your rent is supposed to be a publicly owned utility. That means you own it. But they'll cut your lights off and your water as quick as John got out of the army. And you can do nothing about it. But it's a public owned utility company. They have been offered billions of dollars to sell it. But the leaders did not sell it, but they was thinking, if you want to give me a billion, 2 billion, 3 billion for this company, and they're willing to pay it for this company that we call Memphis Light Gas and Water, if they pay 2 billion for it, they're gonna make 6 billion and more off of it. So for right now, it is still owned by the citizens of this community, a publicly owned utility company. But the problem is because you see nothing in return from this publicly owned utility company, you're not getting any results from it. But the politicians are because they're cutting deal with big wheels while eating big meals. They're getting you hook, line, and sinker. They just misuse you, but the misusing is over. And good evening to you. We're going to get into that and some other things before we get off the air. Today is catfish, spaghetti, coleslaw, and a good cold drink of water or iced tea. Uh, I can smell it. I see it. I can hear in there getting it ready. And I'm ready come Friday. I don't know what y'all. I grew up on catfish, spaghetti, coleslaw on Friday. On Saturday, it was hamburgers and hot dogs out there in that Douglas community growing up. So it stuck with me. She asked, what do you want to eat on Friday? I say, hey, I want catfish, spaghetti, coleslaw. And that's been going on for 34 years since we've been together. Uh, that's just something I like. It was embedded in me back many years ago in our family. That's what it was on Friday. And so many of the family members, mom, dad, grandmama, big mama, all of them are going on. But if I want to keep my heart and something to remember, I always remember on Friday what they had. And boy, did we have a great time back then. I miss them all. They all gone. But hey, we still here on this journey of life that we don't know how many more days, you don't know how many more days, minutes or seconds that we have um, on this earth. But only what you do for Christ will last. Help your brothers and sisters in their time of need. And whatever you can do, let me say, uh, job well done to a church that I pastored many years ago, New Allen AME Church on 3rd Street, right there near 3rd and South Parkway, who did a marvelous thing in feeding and giving groceries to the community. And thank God for the pastor uh, over there and the individual at that church that stepped up to the plate. Want to thank the food bank. And if you can make a donation to the food bank, you see the reason and the purpose that they are there. Please do that because the line was long uh, for that day when they had their drive. And they always say a dollar can do so much it can stretch if you can. But also, I want you to remember, and we're going to talk about this every day, and some of you are doing it, and I appreciate you. But we got a lot more listeners, but we want you to subscribe to this program, to this Facebook, and you will have certain things that are given to you to be able to notify you when we come on, and you won't be able to miss a program. It will be on Facebook, but we are putting together Spotify, uh, X, which used to be Twitter, uh, YouTube, and we're putting all these Instagram together that when we come on like we are now, you will be able to see all of those on those platforms, what you're looking at right now. So we need you to subscribe to Facebook and then go over to Memphis Real Talk. That's one word, Memphis Real Talk. One word.com. And you will see what we are doing by way of the website and the things that we're going to have there for you. News reports and sports we're going to have. And we got it up. We're just working on it. My IT guy just left here a little while ago. And come Monday, we hope and pray that everything will click and all of those other genres will be available to you to keep you informed. And on Spotify, every day and every week, the program that we have done this week, after the day this weekend, they will go over to Spotify. And over on Spotify, if you're looking at a program, you can go and see the date that it was aired, and you can click on that and look at the program like you're looking at me. It will be on YouTube, where you can go there to the channel, Memphis Real Talk channel, and you can see past programs that we will be doing. But we're doing all of this for you. And while you're over there at memphisrealtalk.com, there's a donation button to help us to continue doing what we're doing to bring this information unto you. This is just the beginning of this journey that started back in 1995. It's been some hiccups. Some radio station didn't like me talking about why uh, black folks are missing out on things. We are the only community that everybody else can come in our community and get rich. We can't get rich ourselves. I have to think about Cleveland, Ohio, how they turned the downtown around. And in Cleveland, Ohio, they did a great job turning it around. I think in your community, you can own businesses if you're African American, if you would simply just come together. You drive through your community. I do it all the time. And I count the businesses that are in our community that are not African American owned. Everybody else has a business, and I don't knock them for having a business. But understand, when you take the water from the well and you don't put any water back into the well, uh, then you're just taking from the sources that's making you rich. I think you owe some obligation to the community that you're getting rich and living in East Memphis and Bartlett and Arlington and all of those places. But you get up in the morning and you head to our community and to make a living. And then some, I've been in places where I went in one time and saw how disrespectful that the owners that are in these businesses in the black community are to the people who are giving them money. They were so disrespectful to a woman. Jennings Bernard come out, not Reverend Bernard. Jennings Bernard came out. I said, man, what the hell do you think you're doing? So you talking to that woman like that and she bringing her money in here to give you? I said, man, I tell you what, if you don't show the respect that needs to be shown to this lady, I said, I will give this community to march in front of your store and you won't spend a dime or earn a dime in this store. As a matter of fact, I'm not coming back in here because I see your attitude toward black people. I was there to get some gas. Never been back to that place to get any gas because he ticked me off. You're disrespecting the people that you want to buy your product in the community that you don't live in. So I did that every now and then. When I see things like that, I kind of shoot off because you can't do it in front of me. When I rode in the squad car and I had a white partner, you couldn't do certain things in that squad car when I was in it to black folks or anybody else because equal justice was going to be rendered in that squad car while I was in it. That's who I am. That's how I was raised. And I don't care who you are. You either like me one day or you dislike me the other day, but it really don't matter. Because if you mean, you're going to do the right thing. I don't care whether you're sitting on the bench and you're getting people you know better, but yet you betray the trust of the people that put you on the bench by putting a individual who stole and you recommended. If you didn't, then you're not fit to be sitting on the bench, in my opinion. And I really don't care who you are. I don't really care what you think of me because this is a whole new day and a whole new perspective on doing the right thing. I'm sitting here and I'm hearing and my wife came and showed it to me, where a bartender, gentleman was getting off of work, and they had an accident, and you may have heard about it. 6 individuals jumped out, beat that man so bad that he had stitches, he cracked his skull. And I know the National Guards and the police department can't be everywhere, but for you dummies, and I said it, you dummies, you ignorant individual who said we don't need the National Guard. They are a threat. They are a threat to this community to let you know that you get out of line, you're going to get jacked up, whether it's physically or whether you go to jail for the crime that you committed. They can't be everywhere. And I've seen some who are getting away with things, zigzagging in and out of traffic, running lights, almost having a wreck. But these 6 individuals jumped on one individual, beat him almost to death. And that's how they're riding deep. And I remember, ladies and gentlemen, uh, when I got my first car, and it was just a rule in my family. Although I was paying for the car working, my mother and father said something. You don't carry no more than 2 people in that car. Now keep in mind, I'm paying the note. And I'm listening to them, and I say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Because if you carrying and riding more than 2 people in that car, you giving them the opportunity, them being the police back then, to follow you, to stop you, or whatever. And that was true. But when you have 6 individuals that's in a car on Union and Alawai, jump out and beat a man almost to death, all of those individuals are cowards. If it took 6 people to jump on an individual and beat him almost to death, I don't care if he's black, white, or what in that case, any color or race. 6 people. It shouldn't be one person to do it, but 6. Oh, you cowards. That's what you are. And they hope, I hope, that they find you. I hope you get everything that is deserving of you. I hope that they jack up the jail and throw you under because you're a coward. When it took 6 men, that was 6 individuals on one man who was trying to make a living, and you beat him. You cracked his skull. But these ignorant individuals say that we don't need the National Guard here. These ignorant politicians who turn around and say, hey, we're going to file a lawsuit. Your lawsuit don't mean nothing. Just one individual that gets beaten that badly, and you talk about we don't need it. What you do, Lee Harris, what you do, Paul Young, what you do, J.B. Smiley, who wants to be the county mayor, get your butt in one of those squad cars, ride around the city for 8 hours, and then you'll see what's going on, and you'll be shaking in your boots because you're not built to be a first responder in law enforcement, but yet you want to push pencil and file a lawsuit like you somebody. All of you are cowards that filed that lawsuit because you wouldn't last one day on the streets of South or North Memphis. You are cowards in what you're doing. You're trying to make the people think you somebody, but you're nothing but clowns. When this city, every time I hear it, I get sick to my stomach. There's somebody, some victim of this senseless violence that we have in this city that been attacked and misused and abused, and your stupid butt will sit up and say, we don't need this protection. It's a chaotic system, a city that's in chaos. But yet you're going to talk about we don't need the protection. You won't holler that as soon as one of your family members, or as soon as it's one of your children, that you're running around and holler, we don't need the protection. If you ain't got sense enough to thank God for the protection that we do have, I don't care if a Republican did it, or a Democrat, or an independent did it. The bottom line is done, and you see the result. Some of you ignorant folks, and I'm not talking about those people who haven't done that. I'm talking about the ignorant people who do that, who said that they don't need the protection. And every morning you get up. I bet you tonight, at 10 o'clock, when you look at the news, time it, I bet you the first 5 to 10 minutes of the news is going to be about violence that took place in Memphis, Tennessee. First 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Sometimes I sit and look at it and I time it. The first 5 minutes has been chaotic about what has happened in this city. And then the other minute would be stupidity like buying a hotel. Okay? But yet, these things are happening in this community and you just give up. You give up when you say, we don't need the protection. Not only this city, but every other city needs it. But you're going to holler, we don't need it. But you don't, you say it, but it haven't happened to you yet. I am blessed. It haven't happened to me, but I'm prepared and always will be just in case it come this way. But by chance it happens to you, I guarantee you, you won't be singing the song that we don't need the security, we don't need the threat of the possibility of what the National Guards can do. You won't be saying that, you will be saying, where are they? So you have to be careful what you run your mouth about, because you just might get what you're going against, and that could be somebody doing something to you. Now that man's family, his wife, if he has any, his children, if he has any, are almost mourning in a sad tone the fact what their husband and father was done to them on his way to work or coming from work. But the cowards that attacked him, 6 cowards that attacked him, ain't worried about no work. Their work and their job is to rob you, to take from you, to misuse you by any means necessary. And I'm going to say to the state representative, and some of you all listen to me, you need to change these laws. You mean to make these laws more tougher than what they are. If you got 5 to 10 years, take it from 10 years to 20 years. And we won't have to worry about them clowns doing anything anymore. But no, they will be hollering someone because of things that haven't happened to them. Oh, we don't need crime uh, that high of a punishment. You know, people live day by day. My daddy lived to be 68 years old. He left me early. My mother lived to be 86 before she left us. If my mother and father could live for those amount of years and never broke the law, but they supplied what we needed to raise us, if they could do it, why can't these criminals do it? But see, let me give you a little background on why these criminals are out here doing it. One thing, they didn't pay attention in school. In other words, you can look in school and tell who was the bad kid and the kid that disrespected the teacher and was always in the principal's office for something that they was doing, you kind of knew what they was going to be. Well, the six knuckleheads that robbed and beat that individual who was just trying to make a living, I guarantee you, it started from the home, started from the school, disobedient, and then he finally dropped out. So now he figured that since he's dropped out of school, I got to make a living. Well, he got a criminal record and he can't get a job. So now he's saying, hey, my job is to sleep all day and to get up and rob you all night. Sleep in the daytime and get up in the daytime and rob you dead. Still in the day. But we got to stop this, ladies and gentlemen. The laws have to be. But I saw a guy today. Uh, we came up to the stop sign. He was on a motorcycle and he was packing, openly carrying, had his pistol on the side on his motorcycle. I looked over at him and saw him and I kind of chuckled. But then again, you know what? I didn't blame him. Because you on a motorcycle doing your thing and then these fools come up behind you. You got to have some kind of protection. But see, I'm of the opinion you should never show your card. You would never know if I got anything on me or not. Because now I'm not going to be openly carrying it where you can see it. But you hit this jack in box, this jack in the box, it's going to surprise you one way or the other. You will be surprised. So I think that it should be stiffer punishment for the crimes that are being committed against citizens in this community. And I really don't care if you shoot somebody or you stab somebody in the perpetrating of a crime, then whatever and by any means necessary, I believe that person needs to, to respond in a way to protect themselves. Some of you don't believe that. I've heard people and seen people that say, oh, he killed my baby. Well, he killed your baby because your baby shot him. What was you expecting him to do? Just to sit back and not do something to your baby that evidently you didn't teach your baby right from wrong, and he's out here, he didn't pay attention in school, now he's out here and you aiding and abetting him in his crime. If he got to do what he got to do, if he got to go, he got to go. Because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this that's happening, seeing people running down the street 60, 70, 80 miles an hour in a residential area, trying to get away from the police from a crime that you committed. Now, evidently, that individual on yesterday had a little sense not to do something that would put her in a position to be dealt with severely. But here you are. You could have killed a whole lot of children that was on the sidewalk. But you done what you did. And you wanted to get away with it. You're a coward. If you're big and bad, why do it take six of you to jump on one individual? You have to stiffen these laws to the point that we will look up and say, it's time for a change. And that was on my mind when I saw it, and I wanted to talk about that just for a little bit. And then we want to get back, because so many of you responded to me when I was talking about the hotel. Let me ask you this. Do you think politicians are required to some point to tell you what they are doing? Should Paul Young, if that was on his agenda, to buy the old Sheraton Hotel that used to be back in the day, the Crown Plaza, was it his obligation to let the people know who put him in office what his agenda was? See, behind these doors and behind the curtains, politicians are making deals and not letting you know. There are certain things they can't let you know because they have to run the city. That's one thing. But when you go and make a $20 million, $22 million plus purchase, and the taxpayers, whether it's federal, state, city, or county money, is going to have to foot the bill until, and still will foot the bill afterward, the hotel get on its feet. That's putting another burden on the taxpayer. And I hear some of you talking about, oh, that's a good thing. Oh, you booted fool that believe that you and others' taxes will be raised to support, and they got 2 years to go on my page and look at it. They got 2 years to sit back and think about the renovation and how they gonna get the money and a nonprofit will run it. Boy, you talking about a cash cow. That hotel is gonna be a cash cow for so many crooked individuals and politicians. Or they'll be getting money, backdoor money, 30 pieces of silver, every which way but loose. Because history has shown us in our deficits that nobody wants to address. That every administration leave one after the other. And we ended up raising taxes to move on. And money still been left on the table, or money been taken under the table to the tune of $77.7 million. And the deficits before that. Somebody was laughing and smiling all the way to the bank. Individual been in office for 30 years and went in broke as Joe or middle class, but now a multimillionaire. Something is wrong with that. And the worst thing is that we as voters and citizens are accepting it and allowing this to take place in our city. Well, to all of you all who that's out there that's going to be running for office, I need you to call me. The number is 901-288-5779. I want you to come on the show. I want you to talk to the people about your candidates. You better have an agenda when you come up in here. You better know something about the office you're running for when you come up in here. Because if you don't, it's going to be a hot seat for you. The question will be asked within any hesitation or reservation. What qualifies you to be in this position or to run for this? I don't want to hear the fact that I'm 18 and I haven't been arrested. That don't qualify you to run for any office. It gives you the right to run for the office, but it does not qualify you to run for the office. And see, for too long we have been just getting people with no experience, have never been arrested, that's over 18. And what do that mean? I understand that they was out at uh, the hall, the Democrat uh, individuals running for county mayor. As I looked at the picture, I saw Burgess, I saw J.B. Smiling, saw Harold Collins, saw Mikhail Lord, and I saw Heidi Coon. Now Heidi Coon is running on her whiteness to get the majority of the white votes, and the other four split up the black votes. And she'll get some of the misguided black individuals to support her. She was so bad at criminal court. Criminal court is in the worst shape it ever been in, according to my sources. According to my sources, individual stepped down and retired as opposed to working there for her because they refused to work for somebody that didn't know up from down when it came to that office. Some of them had to go to EEOC to complain on her to get justice because of the way she misused and abused the clerks. So it's a matter of receipts. It's a matter of record. The EEOC told her to go back over there and you better apologize and get that right before we give them the right to sue you. This is the woman that wasn't qualified to be a criminal court clerk, but you all made her that. Now she's saying, I'm going to use my whiteness against these individuals who supported me once, and I hope they do it again. And then she going to be the only white individual so far in the race. And you know what happened to the 9th Congressional District? When all of these black individuals jumped in the race, and Steve Cohen walked into it, in a majority black district that was carved out to have black representation or minority representation in Washington, D.C., but they played the game. They put a white individual into that race. All of these individuals that are black jumped into the race, divided to 100% of the black community in 12 or 13 different races. But Steve Cohen held on to his base and got a few misguided black folks that jumped. I never will forget that race. Like I would never forget the race with Hal Ford Sr. running against Congressman Kirkendall at that time, where they found miscounted or not counted votes down in the basement. And ultimately, Hal Ford Sr. won because of that. I was a young minister back in the 70s, I think 74, when that occurred. I remember those things. I was 16 when the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. I remember those things. And here we are right now in this day and time allowing people not qualified to do the okie doke on you as a black community, and you end up falling for the okie doke. But we're going to be smarter. We're going to get more educated. We're going to learn that if you misuse us in your store, in our business, we're not going in your store. We ain't going to buy your loose cigarettes, which is against the law. We're not going to do what you think we're going to do. We're going to stay away from it. It's a new day. It's a new time. And we're going to wake up. We're going to stand up. We're going to speak up. And some of you all may have listened to that gentleman who stood up there and sent a message to Lee Harris. Said, stop acting like a woman on TV. And I couldn't do nothing but smile because he said it, but everybody else was thinking it. How many people have walked up to me and said to me, what is wrong with him? He act like a woman. Yeah. You know, I always say if it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's got to be a duck. So you take that for what it's worth. And I have no respect for Lee Harris at all. And I have my reason. Some of you know. If you go to my Facebook page and look down and see where I had to go to Chancery Court to make him do what he was supposed to do anyway. So I have no respect for him at all. And he should not, in my opinion, ever hold another office in this community. Well, I'm not going to be long with you today because it is Friday and everything's smelling good, looking good. up in that kitchen, and I'm ready to sit down and partake of Friday's dinner. There's a lot more to talk about, but I want to thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed and you enjoyed this program and what we are doing, please, sir, please, ma'am, subscribe. Hit the button at the bottom of this video and subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. And then you go to MemphisRealTalk.com. Memphis, the city of Memphis. RealTalk.com. That's all one word, MemphisRealTalk.com. The website will come up and just go in there. Look at the website. Look at what we are doing. And if you want to help and be a part of what we are doing here on behalf of you, the citizens, the people of this community, and information is going to come more and more that we are just compiling what we need to talk about on this show. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Make that donation on MemphisRealTalk.com. Hit that donation button, make a donation. God bless you. We appreciate you doing it. But we're moving in a whole new direction, and it will be a positive direction in this community. We're going to be able to get your comments for individual businesses you went in that you thought that they were disrespectful to you or to somebody you saw in the store like I did. And I corrected that problem and never returned back to that store again because I'm disciplined that way. All you have to do is mess up once with me, just one time. Then I know who you are, and I won't give you a second chance to mess up with me. That's who I am. That's who I've always been and will never change. Because one time, and if you think you got away with it, you'll come back and do it a second time. Most, but not all, will do that. You have a great weekend. You take care of yourself. You watch your six, meaning look both ways, around you, in front of you, back of you, just to make sure that you're okay. And to all the ladies, if you see a crowd of men standing around or whoever, don't get out of the car. Just put on off, get your gas some other time, but don't do it right then. If you're uncomfortable with those surrounding, do the right thing because we want you to be safe in this city. Again, to all of the law enforcement officers, whether it's ICE, whether it's uh, National Guards, whether it's MPD, whether it's the Sheriff's Department, we want to talk about it. We want you to continue to do what you do. And also on Monday, I'm going to put it out there. I see that the Sheriff Floyd Bunner has signed a contract with ICE to hold all of the arrestees down in the jail or whatever the facility is going to be when we have all of these folks already in an overcrowded jail. That's something to talk about. And I look forward to talking to you about that on Monday. In the words of my grandmother, she always said, if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, we'll see you on Monday. And remember what I said. Trust everyone, but do not trust the devil inside of you. God bless you. You have a great weekend. Take care.